back at the shed again today. I'm going to be cleaning up the diff, degreasing it, taking the tail shaft off it and pulling the lower control arms off so that I can call up and see what it's going to cost to get these two pushed, those ones there and there, and both on those ones as well need doing. And then I think I'm going to be able to do the panhard rod bushes myself because they're just push-in ones. Got a bit of a diff leak on the back. We'll start tearing into this and getting it ready to get the bushings pressed. Bleed the water out of this system and start hitting the diff with the gurney, get all the grease and muck and everything off that I can, and then wire brush it. I'm going to have to take the brake lines off so that I can clean it up properly. I pulled the brake lines off so I can get into here and everything all properly, so I can clean all that up. And I think I might actually take the lower control arms off and see if I can't find anything to actually sit the diff up on. I just got the fuel tank back from the radiator place, and I'm not sure if you can see, but you can a little bit. It is a lot cleaner than what it was. I got new bushings in the panhard rod, all good to go. Just gonna put it to the side so it doesn't get knocked over and the bushings fall out because they're two-piece. Just finished gurneying all these bits up, just waiting on a couple of shops to get back to me on how much it's going to cost to get some of the bushings pressed. And I'm now about to take the cover off the front of it, get the engine on the crane and start lowering it in and getting the engine ready. So I got the engine on the crane, got everything roughly moved out of the way. Shall be nearly ready to drop it back in. Just gonna double check everything, get it up in the air, and see if I can get a good angle at trying to put the engine in, because I'm here on my own at the moment, so I haven't got anyone to record, but I'll do my best and see what I can do. Let's get this thing in. Right, so after like a 20-minute wrestle, finally got this in. So I was about 20 minutes with you here anyway.
Oh, wow.
Got that in. I can loosen those bolts off again and properly sit the engine down, let the transmission down. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap still back there maybe. Yeah, there we go. She's in, just gonna put a couple of bolts in it, lower it down, and then I think that's going to be me for the day. But we'll see how much we get done. Alright, so I effed up. I forgot to put the flex plate on before we put the engine in, so now here we are, engine back up, trying to put the flex plate in. Hang on, wait.
Yes.
Oh, righto, we got it on.
One more dowel over.
What do you mean one more dowel over?
It's got to go to this hole here.
Oh,
damn.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Got it in, got 3 out of the 4 bolts in the top half of the transmission for the bell housing. But miraculously, I don't know how we've done it, but I picked up that engine mount nut from there, brought it over here, can't find it. It's gone walkabouts. So, I think that just gives me a good excuse to go and take this one off this side and go and get some brand new ones. If I can't end up finding it, because we have looked everywhere, and under it, on it, in it, engine's all in, bolted up, except for that one engine mount down there. I've still got to do up the bolts that let the engine mount move. But for today, that's about it. It's getting late. I'm kind of getting hungry, so yeah, I think that's about it for the day. Fuel tank's over there. Just got to put the bonnet back on it, and we'll be back tomorrow to put the wiring loom on, and I still can't start it till I clean the lines. I've got to blow the lines out tomorrow. Put the fuel tank in. I'll be putting the transmission filter in with the transmission fluid because that all comes in tomorrow morning. And other than that, I can put the downpipe on it and start it off that and see how it goes. But oh no, I won't even be able to put transmission fluid in until I put the tail shaft in it.
Oh, we don't have a yoke.
No, that'll fit that. But alrighty guys, we'll catch us tomorrow. Alrighty, so back here again. I went and borrowed a bush press so that one of these so that I can get the bushings in. I just did tested one out first to make sure that it was going to actually work properly. And yeah, just got that one in. Now I've got to do that one, those two upper arms and the two in the diff, and that should be everything good done and dusted. So we'll start getting into them and we'll get all the new bushings done. Alright, so today was a big bit of a balls up. Since I got here and showed you doing the bushes in the front of those, took me like 2 hours to get that one out. Took 5 minutes to get that one out and pushed in. 5 minutes for that one. Couldn't get these other arms over here done. Got them pushed out, but couldn't get these pushed in because every time I'd go to push it, they'd go whoop and go sideways. So when I take the tool kit back, I'm going to ask old mate if he can do it for me, and I'll have to pay him next week or whatever when it gets done. And at the moment I'm just about to pack up and go home for the day because I'm over it, I'm sore. But yeah, so we got lower control arms on with the bushings, so there's one step down, now 6 more to go. It's 2 days on now from when I was here doing the diff, and I've just picked up some gear oil for it, and I've got the other bush I got pressed in so they can go on. I got the new pump, I got the filter kit, and what else did I end up getting? I think that was about it for now. But yeah, about crack casing on the diff, change the oil out, and then put the tank in. I've got to blow the lines out still. Still got to put the wiring loom on the engine, and this hopefully should have the rear end back in the car today and possibly have the brakes bled, and whole rear end should be all new bushes in it, be all fresh, and then I can start on doing the front. So I'll jump straight into it. I'm going to start piecing together the fuel pump and hanger assembly. I've got the pump in here, everything's all brand new, so shouldn't have a problem with this in a long time. Sorry about the glare. But we'll get this stuff bolted up to the hanger and then get the hanger in the tank. So after wrestling with this hunk of junk for the last 15-20 minutes, I finally got it in after having to cut. I had to cut this little piece off the end because it wasn't letting it go down. But it's in. I hope the float works because otherwise I'm going to crack the shits. But I'm about to put the tank back in and get under and hook everything back up properly and hopefully have a good fuel tank. Oh, first I've got to put air in the compressor and blow the fuel lines out and put a new fuel filter in as well. So I'll get onto that now before I put the tank in. Alright, so just putting the fuel filter in. I'm going to have to put this in. Oh, it's supposed to go up a lot further. And that's got to go on there. Whoops. And then I'll put the tank in, hook up this breather, hook the pump up. I've got to sticky tape these ones up out of the way like that, and then the tank should be in. I've got to get some fuel. I've just blown their lines out. There was a whole heap of dirty yucky fuel come out of it. So finally time to get it back in. I've got to make a gasket for this out of some gasket paper. That should be pretty clean in there, yeah. Good old open diffs. But yeah, get that together, get the bolts and the upper trailing arms and start bolting this thing in. So just went and got some fuel breather line to go to these to there and up to here, and got the fuel tank, petrol for the tank when I put it in. Yeah, just gonna do that and start putting the tank in. Straps are over there and the nuts and bolts are already on it, so we'll get this tank in for good this time. I got the lines onto there and then only one to there because I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a T-piece between those two that go to that one, so that'll just do for now. And the hose that goes from there to there is hanging down just there, so when I get under I'll put all that together and we'll finally have a fuel tank in. Got the tank in, I've still got to put the feed line on, but everything else is done up. The only thing I had trouble with is I'm going to have to go and get a thicker bit of this and a bit longer so that I can actually get it to the top of the tank. But for now I just want it in and I just want to get it going, get it all back together, so that's easy enough to drop the tank later on to do that, so I'm not too worried about it just now. Just got to find a hose clamp for the end of this and the tank will be in and I'll start doing the gasket for the diff. So I did the gasket up, it's all nice and ready to go. I just got to clean that up a bit more and then get the oil and pour out 1.7 litres and put back into the diff. So I got that all cleaned up, got the gasket, got fresh oil in the diff, so I'll get this casing put back on and get this rear end in the car. That's all the diff, all done back up together. There's one more thing that I got to do that I nearly forgot, and that's put the brake line back on the back of the diff. Took it off to make it a bit easier to clean. So brake line's all back on, done up, and the other clip for it should be here somewhere. Just there to stick it to the chassis. And yeah, so that should be the brakes done other than needing a bleed. Got these put in there, got to put them in there. You can see where the old rubbers were that worn that it was starting to buckle the metal a little bit, but new bushes should fix that little problem. Right, so that one's in all nice and tight and bushioned up, so we'll get on to the other side and we'll be one step closer. So far I've got the diff up, I've got the rear shock on just to help hold it there for the moment. I've still got to put the upper trailing arms on and do the bolts and that up, but I'm just sort of getting it all sitting in there for now and then get the springs in. So all the arms are in, I've just got to tighten them all up, pull the jack out at some point, but yeah, just got to put the panhard rod on. The diff dropped before off the jack and bent that all the way up to about here, so I'm glad that didn't split and I can get that back to there. I just got to get the multi-grips or pliers and try and bend that back straight again, but other than that it's going in fairly nicely. But yeah, we'll keep moving along. I had to take the filter out to get that bolt in there for the upper trailing arm, but so far so good. Just got to put the link pins on for the sway bar and it'll be the rear end done. Everything's bolted up in the rear end, everything's all ready to go. Now just got to get onto the transmission, do the filter key and that, put fluid in it. I haven't put the handbrake cable back in it yet because I think I'm going to end up replacing the brakes at some point, so they're probably still good for a bit. I'm just going to get the wire brush and get the rest of the old cork gasket off and then get underneath, undo the 10 little bolts to pull the filter out, put the new one in and put the transmission fluid in. All cleaned up, just give it a wipe out and get ready to get back under there. Just getting the pan on now, change the filter and this gasket. Now just to get it all back together. I'm going to have to Google to see how much oil is supposed to go in now. I think it's only around the 2.5–3 litre mark. So I'm going to try and quickly run the wiring loom, and I think I'm just going to run it for now and leave it to plug it in next time I come back over. But at the moment Everything seems to be going as planned. Everything's coming along nicely. Transmission's done, diff's done, bushes are done, engine refresh is done, so we'll be ready to turn on and run soon. But yeah, I'm just in the middle of packing up at the moment and waiting to come and get picked up. But yeah, so far so good with this at the moment, and we'll yeah, keep putting along.